Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be discussing about the poem The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu, which is a part of Class 11 ICSE Syllabus, in which we will study in details about the poet, the theme, the message, the central idea, and the stanza-wise summary of the poem. For your convenience, I have added timestamps in the description so that if you wish to watch any segment again, you can just click on that particular timestamp to go through it. Towards the end of the video, I will also be discussing the poetic devices used in this poem. So, without further delay, let's get started. Before beginning with the explanation of the poem, let us first know a little bit about the poet. Sarojini Naidu was an Indian political activist and poetess. A proponent of civil rights, women's emancipation, and anti-imperialistic ideas, she was an important figure in India's struggle for independence from colonial rule. Her work as a poetess earned her the sobriquet the Nightingale of India or Bharat Kokila by Mahatma Gandhi because of the lyrical quality of her poetry. Many of Naidu's poems are about everyday life or the natural world. Many are infused with her patriotism and her desire for India's freedom from British rule. Her writing style is considered to be traditional and simple with use of literary devices such as imagery and alliteration. Moving on to the theme of this poem, Sarojini Naidu's poem The Gift of India is based mainly on two themes. Firstly, a celebration and demand for accounting Mother India's gifts to the West as well as a tribute to the Indian soldiers who were martyred in the battlefield of the First World War. Mother India, the speaker of the poem, reminds the world of the priceless treasures she has gifted to the countries of the East as well as the West. And more importantly, she has sent her brave sons to fight someone else's war, especially in the World War I. She has given all she had, but now, in return, what she wants is just some recognition for her gifts and her martyred sons. The poem brings forth two very important messages to the society: to remember our brave soldiers and to realize that war always brings destruction. The poem is patriotic in nature and written in the memory of those who sacrificed their lives for India in foreign lands. The poetess remembers their great sacrifice and suggests the readers to keep them in their memories. The second message of the poem is that there should be no wars because wars only bring death and destruction. There's loss of lives, property, and also huge damage to the environment. Hence, there should be no wars. Moving on to the central idea of the poem, The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu sounds like an appeal by Mother India herself to the world to remember the contribution of Indian soldiers during World War I. It is surcharged with the emotional outpouring of a mother, reminiscence on how her children fought and died during World War I. In the first stanza, the poet regards all the benefits of raiment, grain, and gold unearthed and taken away across the world as gifts from India. The second stanza pictures the patriotic situation of those who lost their lives miles apart from home. The third stanza briefs us about the grief brought home by their death. And finally, in the fourth stanza, the poetess or the speaker appeals to honor the sacrifices of these Indian soldiers. So now, let us move on to the stanza-wise summary of the poem. Stanza 1. Is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Rich gifts of raiment or grain or gold? Lo, I have flung to the east and the west priceless treasures, torn from my breast, and yielded the sons of my stricken womb to the drumbeats of the duty, the sabres of doom. The first stanza of the poem begins with a rhetorical question. Here, the poetess personifies India as a mother who loves and longs for her children who were sent to war. The tone in the stanza reflects the disappointment and anger of the speaker. She asks if there is anything that was withheld by her, such as raiment or grain or gold. She has sent the priceless treasures torn from her breast, symbolically meaning the way it was taken away forcibly to the countries of the East and the West. Moreover, she sent her sons to the faraway lands to fight in the battle. The sabers of doom represent the nature of the war and the destruction that could happen in its wake. Stanza 2. Gathered like pearls in their alien graves, silent they sleep by the Persian waves. Scattered like shells on Egyptian sands, they lie with pale brows and brave broken hands. They are strewn like blossoms mown down by chance on the blood brown meadows of Flanders and France. In the second stanza of the poem, the poetess picturizes the sacrifices of the Indian soldiers made in the alien lands and the horrors of war and war fronts in a rich poetic language. The poetess uses imagery and metaphor to distinguish the sacrifices made by the Indians. The similes, gathered like pearls and scattered like shells, denotes the careless treatment given to the bodies of the soldiers. The terms alien graves, Persian waves, Egyptian sands, and Flanders and France in the stanza explicitly present how the soldiers are buried away far from home from their near and dear ones. The painful image of death and suffering is given in the description, lie with pale brows and brave broken hands. In the last line, the poetess metaphorically compares the warriors to blossoms and the battlefield to blood brown meadows, detailing the anguish of the speaker who realizes that they died by chance fighting someone else's war. Moving on to stanza 3, can ye measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep, or the pride that thrills through my heart's despair, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer, and the far sad glorious vision I see of the torn red banners of victory. The rhetorical question in the third stanza adds beauty to the poem and enumerates the distress of the speaker. The speaker asks the warring countries whether they can feel the grief that she feels or the tears that she weeps for her dead sons. The speaker, despite her sadness, is proud of her sons who have fought bravely and brought victory. The poetess here has given shape to the voices of countless Indian mothers whose sons sacrificed their lives in the war. She talks of the small hopes and the prayers some had for their sons' safety and return since the war was still going on. In the last two lines of this stanza, the poetess wonders if those people also see the far sad glorious vision that she sees of the torn red banners of victory. The poetess looks certain of the victory that would come with the efforts of her children, yet she finds no pleasure for the sacrifices that are irrevocable. The torn red banners of victory symbolizes the blood of the Indian soldiers who sacrificed their lives for the victory of their colonizers. Moving on to the last stanza of the poem. When the terror and the tumult of hate shall cease, and life be refashioned on anvils of peace, and your love shall offer memorial thanks to the comrades who fought on the dauntless ranks. and you honor the deeds of the dauntless ones, remember the blood of my martyred sons. In the last stanza of the poem, the speaker throws light upon the after effects of the war and the process of life becoming normal. When the war is over, so will be the terror and tumult of hate. Peace will prevail, and life will get back to normal with a lot of changes. At that time, everyone will pay their respects to those who have fought and died in the war. The comrades will receive honors for their brave deeds that could never be forgotten. When such a time comes, the speaker expects the world to remember the sacrifices of her martyred sons. Let us now discuss the literary devices used in the poem in details. The first one is personification, where India has been personified as a mother who has feelings and is mourning the death of her martyred sons. She is proud of their sacrifices, but at the same time, she weeps as she cannot bear their separation. The second device is metaphor, where the Indian soldiers are addressed as pearls. The third one is simile. Examples: gathered like pearls in their alien graves, scattered like shells on Egyptian sands, strewn like blossoms mown down by chance. The fourth device that we are going to discuss is alliteration. Examples of alliteration in this poem are rich gifts of raiments, grains or gold, treasures torn, silent they sleep, brows and brave broken hands, blood brown meadows, Flanders and France, and many others of the like. The last poetic device is oxymoron, and the example of oxymoron in this poem is sad, glorious vision. With this, we come to the end of today's video. Children, some of you have requested for notes and questions and answers related to the chapters and poems that I explain in my channel. You'll be glad to know that my online English coaching classes are going on, and anyone who wishes to get detailed notes of the chapter and the poems is always welcome to join. The details of my online classes are given in the description. Thanks for watching.